Alright, what's up everybody? It's your boy Keenan. Welcome to today's vlog. Here to start kicking things off, give you my grades for each team for their selections of this year's NFL Draft. Today, I'm going to kick things off with the NFC East Division. First of all, I need to talk about that first round of the NFL Draft. I went 6 for 32, didn't do too well, mainly because there was 8 trades in that first round and a couple of surprising selections, and that kind of messed up my draft as well as others' drafts I know for a fact did. Now, starting to talk about the NFC East Division, I'm going to start things off with the Dallas Cowboys. They did a brilliant job picking up a couple of good players. Starting with the number 6 overall selection, they ended up bumping up. Jerry Jones, the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, made a bold move, bumping up, trading with the St. Louis Rams to get the number 6 selection and stole Morris Claiborne out of LSU. This is a great selection. This is the Jim Thorpe Award winner last season. 6 interceptions. He is the best cover corner coming into this year's NFL Draft, and this was a big need for that secondary for the Dallas Cowboys. Now, in 5 games this past season, they ended up blowing 5 fourth-quarter leads due to the flattened secondary that occurred in the end of the game, and they really need a big upgrade at the cornerback position and even at the safety position to help out Rob Ryan's defense. And Morris Claiborne is that go-to guy, and I think he's going to play brilliantly right away for the Dallas Cowboys. Now, the next selection did not occur until the 3rd round, and they picked up a couple of good players like Tyron Crawford, the defensive end out of Boise State. I know Rob Ryan's going to love this kid, as well as Kyle Wilbur out of Wake Forest. I think he has the potential to be a decent pass rusher, and at worst, I believe he's going to be a special team star for the Dallas Cowboys. Both of these two players were great selections. Now, in the later rounds, they ended up picking up a decent safety out of Eastern Washington, Matt Johnson, and I really think he could start at safety for the Dallas Cowboys. He's a decent player. I don't really think he's going to be a star, but he does have potential just like any other athlete coming into this year's NFL season as a rookie. I think Matt Johnson is a good athlete playing in the FCS division, one of the top safeties in that division, and I really think he can do well for the Dallas Cowboys at the safety position. Now, overall, I need to give this team a B+, mainly because that Morris Claiborne trade, and I believe that they upgraded that defense to help up the offense a little bit better, and I really think they're going to do a little bit better this season, particularly picking up these great players, and I think Morris Claiborne is going to be that guy. I think he's going to be a star right away for the Dallas Cowboys, maybe even a Pro Bowl as a rookie. Next team to talk about, the Dallas Cowboys rival, the Washington Redskins. They picked up a big name quarterback, RG3, Robert Griffin III, last season's Heisman Trophy winner. The only thing that people need to worry about is his durability issues. He did suffer a torn ACL in which he was out for a season, but he bounced back and improved throughout his college football career, and I think he's going to do well for the Dallas Cowboys. He has so much potential to be an elite quarterback, and Mike Shanahan has a big project for him. Now, I had a little bit of concern in later rounds when they picked up Kirk Cousins out of Michigan State, a second quarterback for the Washington Redskins. I don't think they should have went with another quarterback. I think he has a good arm, and he's a smart quarterback, but he's another project. He's a developmental quarterback, and I don't really think they're going to need to be working on 2 projects at the quarterback position for the Washington Redskins. That was one thing that did concern me. But they picked up a couple of good athletes, particularly in the offensive line. They picked up guards, Josh Laribias out of SMU, and Iowa's guard Adam Geddes. Both these two players are going to be fighting for a start position. I think Geddes is going to be more as a reserve. I really think Josh Laribias is going to pursue a start position for the Washington Redskins, and I think this can help out that offensive line and rebuild a good offense, a young team on the offensive side, 2 running backs, Evan Royster and Roy Hulu Jr. This could be a great tandem. And in the later rounds, speaking of the running back position, they picked up Alfred Morris out of Florida International. This kid did rush over 1,300 yards a couple of seasons back, and I think he could work well, especially in the zone play. He could definitely be utilized in Mike Shanahan's offense. I think he could be a good fit, but I don't really think they could have went with a running back for this position because they do have Evan Royster and Roy Hulu Jr., who both showed a lot of spark last season, particularly in the fantasy football play. Particularly for me, they've helped me out a lot. Now, this can be a good addition, a decent young 3-headed monster, but we will see how Mike Shanahan is going to use all 3 of these running backs. Now, overall, I'm going to give the Washington Redskins a B. I was going to go for A- or B+, but in the later rounds, there was a couple question marks, like I said, picking Alfred Morris and Kirk Cousins, and I really think those were 2 maybe wasted selections, but the RG3 selection, big pick, and that's probably the reason why I was going to go for A- or B+, but I have to give them a solid B because of the later rounds. Next team to talk about, the Philadelphia Eagles. I really like their draft, particularly when they focus more on the defensive side. With their first pick, they picked up Fletcher Cox out of Mississippi State. He would definitely be the leader of that interior defensive line, and I really think he could be a great addition for that 9-man front. Now, in the second pick, they went with Michael Kendricks out of California. I really think this kid is a stud, and he will be a starter right away for the linebacker. And I told you guys before that they do need a stud linebacker. Luke Kuechly in particular, they're definitely going to be looking at him for this year's NFL draft, but they had to settle with Kendricks, and I think Kendricks is a great athlete. He's one of the best middle linebackers in the 4-3 scheme, and that's what Philadelphia uses, and I really think this is going to be a good fit for that defense. In the later rounds, they picked up a good cornerback, a slot cornerback in Brandon Boykin out of Georgia. This is going to be a great addition, and they picked up an outstanding defensive end, Vinny Curry out of Marshall. He had 22 tackles for loss that season, and I think he can work well in the rotation with Trent Cole and Jason Babbitt. This defense is going to be crazy this upcoming season with all these acquisitions, big picks. Now, in the later rounds, they did look at a quarterback. Andy Reid did have to look for a quarterback to back up Michael Vick, and they ended up selecting Arizona's quarterback, Nick Foles. This kid does have a good, decent arm. He had a pretty productive college football career, but he has cement feet. Unlike Michael Vick, he's more of a dual threat, and I really think the mobility issues of Nick Foles is the thing that he needs to work on, his footwork and how to evade the defenders when they're coming after him for sacks. But he still has a good arm, and I think he could be a good development as a second-string quarterback, maybe a potential to back up Michael Vick if he does get hurt. I think still is a decent selection, but just a little bit of a project. Now, overall for this team, I'm going to give them a B+, better than the Washington Redskins and tied with the Dallas Cowboys. I really do like their selections. Next team and final team, the New York Giants, the Super Bowl champion. This was a great draft for them as well. Overall, I'm going to give them a B, starting with their first pick, David Wilson out of Virginia Tech. He was the ACC Player of the Year last season, and he had 990 yards after contact when he had the football in his hand. The thing that he needs to work on is his ball carrying skills. He sometimes tends to fumble the football every once in a while. I think he needs to use Tiki Barber's technique and raise that ball up pretty high. With their second selection, they picked up a good receiver who they considered picking in the first round, and Ruben Randall out of LSU. He will definitely replace Mario Manningham, who has now jumped ship to San Francisco to play for the 49ers, and I think Ruben Randall will be that number 3 receiver right away behind Victor Cruz, the breakout player of the year last season, as well as Hakeem Nicks. I think this is going to be a dangerous receiving corps for Eli Manning in that passing attack, who ranked 5th in the nation in passing. Also, sticking with the offensive side, they picked up a good tight end in Adrian Claiborne. Mike Hope, the tight end coach, is going to have a little bit of a project for Adrian Robinson, to help out both Travis Beckham and Jake Ballard. Both of them are coming off of knee injuries, and they showed a lot of spark last season, particularly Travis Beckham. I did like his performance in the playoffs until he got hurt, and I really hope he recovers, because I believe this kid has a lot of potential to work well and be a valuable tight end for the New York Giants for the upcoming seasons. Now, they picked up a great cornerback and Jerron Holsley out of Virginia Tech. Back in 2010, he had 9 interceptions, and I really think with showing that he does have playmaking ability, he can cause some turnovers for the defense and give the ball back to the offense. So overall, for this selection, for this team, I'm going to give them a B, a solid B, because they ended up picking late in the first round, which is never too good, but they still picked up some great, valuable athletes for this team, and I really cannot wait to see what happens in this NFC East division. This division is nasty and tough, one of the toughest divisions in the league, and these guys, they're going to be going straight to the scrapping with these matches for this year's NFL season. I cannot wait. Now, before I part ways with you guys today, I'd like to give a special apologies to everybody in San Diego. They lost a true athlete in Junior Seau. This kid was a monster. This guy was a monster during his years in the NFL. 12-time Pro Bowler, 6-time All-Pro, and I'm really so sorry for this team. We lost him today due to a suicide with the police report, and he was found dead at his house, and I really have my prayers to him and his family. And I'll catch you guys a little bit later, starting tomorrow, to give you my NFC West Division grades and all the grades for these teams. Thank you for watching today's vlog. My name's Akeem McCall. Be East.